my beloved child, I need you to pause right now. Do not scroll past this moment. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. I am speaking to you, and I am speaking urgently. There are times when I whisper gently into your spirit, and there are times when I call your name with holy urgency. This is one of those times. I need you to see this urgently because something is shifting in your life even now. You have been asking me for a sign. In quiet prayers, in tired sighs, in thoughts you barely formed into words you have said, God, are you there? Do you see what I'm facing? Do you know how heavy this feels? My beloved child, I have heard every word. I have seen every tear. And I am answering you now. This message is not random. It is not an accident that your eyes are here at this very second. I arranged this moment because you are standing at a turning point. There is something ahead of you that requires clarity. Here is a decision forming, a door opening, a shift approaching. The enemy of your peace has tried to cloud your vision with fear and distraction, hoping you would move too quickly or shrink back too soon. But I will not allow you to walk blindly. I am your Father. I protect what is mine. And you, my beloved child, are mine. You feel it, don't you? It rests a stirring in your spirit, a sense that something must change. Perhaps you cannot explain it, but deep inside, you know you cannot stay where you are. You have outgrown a season. You have endured more than you thought you could. You have carried questions without answers. And in the silence, you wondered if I was still writing your story. I am. I need you to see this urgently because doubt has been knocking at your door. It has been whispering that you are forgotten, that time is running out, that you missed your moment. But those whispers are lies. I am not late. I am not absent. I am not unsure about you. I am aligning things behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. Imagine a child standing at the edge of a forest, afraid to step forward because the path looks dark. What the child does not know is that the father has already walked ahead, clearing stones, marking safe ground, preparing the way. That is what I have been doing for you. While you worried, I worked. While you wept, I prepared. While you waited, I positioned. This urgency is not to frighten you. It is to awaken you. I am calling your attention because what happens next requires trust. It requires you to lift your eyes above fear and fix them on me. Do not ignore this moment. Do not silence this stirring. I need you to see that you are not stuck, not forgotten, not abandoned. You are on the edge of something greater than you realize, and I am guiding every step. My beloved child, now that I have your attention, let me speak to the place you rarely show the world. I see the silent battles you haven't told anyone about. I see the weight you carry behind your smile. I see the thoughts that circle your mind when the room grows quiet and there is no one left to distract you from them. You have become strong for everyone else. You answer messages. You fulfill responsibilities. You show up even when your heart feels tired. But when the lights go off and you are alone with your own breathing, the questions return. Am I enough? Will this ever change? Why does it feel like I'm fighting alone? My beloved child, you are not fighting alone. I have been closer than your next breath. I watched you the night you stared at the ceiling, replaying conversations in your mind. I was there when anxiety tightened your chest and you did not even know how to pray. I saw the tears you wiped away quickly so no one would ask questions. Do you think those moments were hidden from me? Nothing about you is hidden from your Father. I see what others overlook. I hear what you never say out loud. There are wounds you learned to live with, disappointments you buried, words spoken over you that still echo in your memory. You tried to shake them off, telling yourself to move on, to be stronger, to forget. But the heart does not heal by pretending. And I am not asking you to pretend with me. I am inviting you to bring every fragile piece into my hands. Sometimes you think your struggle means you are failing. But struggle does not mean failure. It means you are human, and it means you care. You care about your future. You care about your purpose. You care about being loved and valued. That longing inside you was placed there by me. It is not weakness. It is evidence that your heart is alive. I know the pressure you feel to have everything figured out. I know the comparison that creeps in when you see others moving ahead. I know the fear that whispers, "You're falling behind." But my beloved child, you are not late in my plan. You are not disqualified because you feel tired. Even your exhaustion has been seen and measured by my gentle hand. Think of a warrior who trains in secret before ever stepping into victory. The bruises are unseen. The sweat falls in silence. Yet those hidden hours are what build strength. In the same way, the battles you fight in your mind and heart are shaping a resilience within you. You may feel fragile, but you are becoming stronger than you realize. And hear me clearly. You do not have to carry this alone anymore. You were never meant to. When you try to hold every burden by yourself, your shoulders grow weary. But when you place them in my hands, something shifts. I am not intimidated by your fear. I am not disappointed by your doubts. I am not frustrated by your questions. I am your father. I lean closer when you feel weakest. There is a tenderness in the way I look at you. Not judgment, not impatience. Tenderness. Like a father kneeling in front of a child who scraped their knee. I do not scold you for falling. I gather you. I clean the wound. I remind you that you are still loved, still capable, still mine. So let me say this urgently, but gently. Stop hiding your pain from me. Stop thinking you must be strong before you come into my presence. Come as you are. Bring me the confusion. Bring me the anger. Bring me the fear that you are ashamed to admit. I already know it, and I am not turning away. The battles you fight in secret have not gone unnoticed. I am strengthening you in places no one else can see. And very soon, what was formed in hidden struggle will begin to show as quiet confidence. You will look back and realize that in your loneliest nights, I was building something unshakable inside you. My beloved child, I see you completely. And because I see you, I am already moving on your behalf. My beloved child, the season you are standing in right now is not random. It may feel confusing. It may feel slower than you hoped. It may even feel unfair at times. But I need you to understand something deeply. You are not drifting through meaningless days. You are walking through a carefully measured chapter of your life, and I am the author who never loses control of the pen. You look at your circumstances and try to piece them together like scattered fragments of a puzzle. You asked, why this delay? Why this challenge? Why this silence? From your view, it can seem like disconnected moments. But from my view, it is a tapestry being woven with precision. Every thread, even the dark ones, has purpose in the final design. There are seasons for planting and seasons for harvest. There are seasons for growth above the ground and seasons where roots must stretch deeper beneath the surface. Right now, much of what I am doing in you is happening below what others can see. And because it is hidden, you sometimes mistake it for stagnation. But hidden does not mean inactive. Silence does not mean absence. Imagine a tree in winter. Its branches look bare. Its progress appears frozen. If you judged it only by what you see, you would think it is lifeless. Yet beneath the soil, roots are strengthening. Energy is being preserved. Preparation is happening quietly for a spring that will come at the appointed time. My beloved child, this is your season of rooting. You have asked me for stability. You have prayed for lasting peace, for unshakable confidence, for a future that will not collapse under pressure. Those things are not built in a moment of ease. They are formed in seasons like this one, when answers are not immediate, when you must choose trust over sight, when you must take small steps even without a full map. Your relationship shifting, opportunity pausing, doors that seem uncertain, and you wonder if you made a wrong turn. But I am guiding you even through what feels unclear. Sometimes I allow a season of stretching so that you can release what no longer fits the person you are becoming. You are growing beyond old limits, and growth can feel uncomfortable before it feels empowering. My beloved child, I am not punishing you with this season. I am preparing you. There is a difference. Punishment isolates and condemns. Preparation shapes and strengthens. I am shaping you for something that requires maturity, discernment, and courage. And those qualities are refined through time, not rushed through panic. Do not despise where you are simply because it does not look impressive yet. Do not compare your timeline to someone else's highlight. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten in the background of someone else's story. This chapter is tailored specifically for you. There is wisdom being formed in your waiting. There is compassion growing through your pain. There is clarity emerging through your questions. Even your disappointments are teaching you what truly matters. One day, you will look back and see how this season filtered out distractions and revealed your true priorities. I need you to stop labeling this time as wasted. It is not wasted. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of endurance is being woven into strength. I'm aligning people, places, and opportunities beyond what your eyes can track. Timing is not accidental in my hands. Trust me in this. Lean into me instead of resisting the process. When you feel tempted to rush ahead or retreat in fear, come back to my voice. Let me steady you. Let me remind you that the same God who planted the dream in your heart is tending the soil around it. Your season has purpose. Your waiting has meaning. And when the appointed moment arrives, you will step forward not fragile and uncertain, but rooted and ready. My beloved child, while I am preparing you in this season, there is something I must gently uncover. There is a trap around you, and it does not look dangerous at first glance. It looks harmless. It looks normal. It even looks productive. But it is distraction. And distraction has been stealing your peace more than you realize. You live in a world filled with noise. Voices compete for your attention from morning until night. Opinions, expectations, comparisons, endless information. Your mind rarely rests. Even when your body is still, your thoughts are scrolling, analyzing, replaying, predicting. The noise is constant. And in the noise, my whisper can feel distant, not because I am far away, but because your focus is being pulled in too many directions. Distraction does not always come in the form of something sinful or obviously wrong. Sometimes it comes as overcommitment. Sometimes it comes as trying to fix everything at once. Sometimes it comes as obsessing over what others think about you. And sometimes it comes disguised as urgency, pushing you to react before you have listened. My beloved child, urgency from me brings clarity and peace. Urgency from fear brings chaos and pressure. You must learn the difference. There are moments when you have felt that gentle nudge in your spirit, telling you to pause, to pray, to wait. But instead, you rushed ahead because you did not want to miss an opportunity. You answered every demand placed on you, even when your heart felt stretched thin. You tried to control outcomes instead of trusting my timing. And in doing so, your soul grew tired. Imagine a lamp placed in the middle of a storm. The wind does not have to extinguish the flame directly. It only has to shake it enough to make it flicker. Distraction is like that wind. It shakes your focus. It pulls your eyes away from what truly matters. It drains your energy on things that will not carry you into your next season. I am not asking you to withdraw from your responsibilities. I'm asking you to return to alignment. When you are aligned with me, even your work feels lighter. Even your decisions feel steadier. But when you operate from constant distraction, you begin to mistake movement for progress. You become busy but not purposeful. My beloved child, I need your attention because what I am about to do in your life requires clarity. You cannot hear detailed instructions in a crowded room. You cannot see clearly through fog created by overthinking. You cannot step confidently when you are looking in 10 directions at once. There are some voices you must turn down. Some expectations you must release. Some comparisons you must refuse to entertain. You are not called to keep up with everyone else's pace. You are called to walk in step with me. And my pace is steady. It is intentional. It is never frantic. Think of a child learning to walk beside a loving father. If the child constantly pulls away, chasing every colorful distraction, the journey becomes chaotic. But when the child holds the father's hand and looks up for guidance, each step becomes secure. That is what I am inviting you into now. Hold my hand again. Look up. Slow down enough to hear me. The trap of distraction is subtle, but you are not powerless against it. Choose moments of stillness. Guard your mind from unnecessary comparison. Refuse to let fear rush you into decisions I have not confirmed. When you quiet the noise, you will realize that I have been speaking all along. You do not need more information. You need deeper focus. You do not need to chase every opportunity. You need discernment, and I am ready to give it to you. My beloved child, clear your space. Clear your heart. Clear your attention. I am guiding you carefully, and the next step will become obvious when you are no longer pulled in every direction. My beloved child, you have been moving through your days in a familiar rhythm. Wake up. Handle responsibilities. Solve problems. Go through fatigue. Routine. There is comfort in routine because it feels predictable. It feels safe. But I am interrupting your routine right now, and I need you to understand why. When a loving father sees his child walking toward something harmful, he does not stay silent just to preserve the child's comfort. He calls out. He steps in. He may even pull the child back suddenly. To the child, it can feel confusing. It can feel frustrating. But to the father, it is protection. My interruption in your life is not rejection. It is protection. You have been praying for change, yet when change begins to stir, it feels unsettling. You asked me to open doors, but when old doors begin to close, you question what is happening. You asked me to guide you, but when I redirect your path, it disrupts your plans. My beloved child, guidance often feels like interruption before it feels like blessing. There are patterns you have settled into that feel normal, but they are limiting you. There are conversations you keep replaying. There are habits of thought that quietly drain your confidence. There are environments that keep you smaller than you were meant to be. You adapted to survive, but now I am calling you to grow. Growth requires deception. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. Before it can rise toward the light, the shell must crack open. That breaking is not comfortable. It is not gentle, but it is necessary. Without the breaking, there is no breakthrough. In the same way, I am allowing certain routines to be shaken so that what I planted inside you can finally emerge. You may have noticed that things no longer satisfy you the way they once did. Conversations feel empty. Achievements feel temporary. Even distractions feel less effective. That is not accidental. I am lifting your vision. I am awakening your spirit to something deeper. And when your spirit awakens, routine alone cannot sustain you. My beloved child, sometimes I interrupt your routine because you have grown comfortable in places that were only meant to be temporary. Comfort can become a quiet cage. You may not realize you are settling because nothing seems obviously wrong. But there is more for you. More peace. More purpose. More alignment. You wonder why certain plans are stalling. Why certain relationships feel strained. Why opportunities are shifting. It is because I am repositioning you. I see the road ahead further than you do. I see the detours that would drain you. I see the shortcuts that would cost you later. And because I love you, I will not let you walk blindly into harm. Imagine driving at night with limited visibility. You may think the road is clear, but if there is danger ahead, you would want someone who sees further to guide you. I see beyond the curve. I see beyond this week, this month, this year. My interruption is my mercy in motion. Do not mistake this moment for chaos. It is correction. Not a correction in anger, but correction in love. I am adjusting your steps so that you do not have to recover from unnecessary wounds later. I am shifting your focus so that you can step into what truly belongs to you. You are not losing control, you are being led. My beloved child, trust the interruption. When I press pause on what feels familiar, it is because I am preparing you for something greater. When I remove what feels stable, it is because I am establishing something stronger. Let go of the need to understand every detail. Rest in the assurance that your Father sees clearly. This interruption is not the end of your story. It is the turning of a page. And I am guiding your hand as you step into what comes next. My beloved child, now I want to speak to the voice that has been following you quietly. It does not shout. It whispers. It waits for vulnerable moments. It speaks when you are tired, when you are disappointed, when you are uncertain. That voice is fear. And I need you to understand something clearly. Fear has been whispering lies to you. Fear tells you that you are not ready. Fear tells you that you will fail. Fear tells you that others are ahead of you and you will never catch up. It tries to sound reasonable. It uses your past mistakes as evidence. It points to moments when things did not work out and says, "See, it will happen again." But fear does not tell the whole story. It only tells the part that keeps you small. My beloved child, fear is a voice, but it is not my voice. I do not speak to you in panic. I do not rush you with dread. I do not remind you of your past to shame you. When I correct you, it is with love. When I guide you, it is with peace. Even when I call you higher, my invitation carries strength, not torment. If what you are hearing in your mind feels heavy, condemning, or hopeless, it is not coming from me. Fear has been trying to attach itself to your identity. It wants you to say, "I am anxious. I am incapable. I am behind." But that is not who you are. You are learning. You are growing. You are becoming. Anxiety may visit your mind, but it does not define your spirit. Doubt may knock at your door, but it does not own your future. Imagine a child learning to swim for the first time. The water feels unfamiliar. The body tenses. The mind imagines sinking. Fear screams, "You can't do this." But with a steady hand supporting them, the child begins to realize they are capable of more than they thought. I am that steady hand for you. Even when you feel like you are flailing, I am holding you up. Fear magnifies uncertainty. It convinces you that one wrong step will ruin everything. It makes tomorrow look like a mountain you cannot climb. But you are not meant to carry tomorrow all at once. You are meant to walk with me today, step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. You have been overanalyzing conversations, replaying scenarios that have not even happened yet. You have been preparing for rejection before anyone has rejected you. You have been bracing for loss before anything has been taken away. My beloved child, you are exhausting yourself fighting battles that only exist in imagination. Let me replace the whispers. Where fear says you will fail, I say I will sustain you. Where fear says you are alone, I say I am with you. Where fear says it's too late, I say my timing is perfect. Where fear says you are not enough, I say my grace is more than enough. You must learn to pause and ask, whose voice am I agreeing with? Agreement gives power. When you agree with fear, it grows louder. When you agree with truth, fear begins to shrink. I am inviting you to shift your agreement. My beloved child, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to trust me while fear tries to speak. It is taking a step even when your hands tremble. It is believing my promises over your panic. And every time you choose trust, you weaken fear's grip. I am not disappointed that you have felt afraid. I know your humanity. I understand your vulnerabilities. But I refuse to let fear govern your destiny. You were not created to live confined by worst-case scenarios. You were created to walk in confidence, anchored in my presence. The lies have gone on long enough. It is time to silence them with truth. Stand in my promises. Breathe in my peace. Remember who holds your future. My beloved child, fear has been whispering, but I am speaking louder now. My beloved child, listen to me carefully now. You are closer to your breakthrough than you realize. I know it does not feel that way. I know some days it feels like you are standing still, like nothing is moving, like your prayers are echoing back at you unanswered. But what you cannot see is that movement has already begun beneath the surface. There is a moment just before dawn when the night feels the darkest. The air is still. The world is quiet. If you did not know better, you would think the darkness will last forever. But the sun is already rising, even before your eyes can detect the light. That is where you are right now. The light is closer than you think. You have been measuring progress by visible results. You have been looking for dramatic signs, sudden changes, immediate answers. But breakthrough often begins in unseen shifts. It starts in your mindset softening. It begins in your heart healing. It grows in your ability to respond differently than you once did. These quiet transformations are signs that something powerful is forming. Do not underestimate how far you have already come. There were days in your past when you thought you would not survive the weight you were carrying. Yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still seeking me. That alone is evidence of strength being built inside you. My beloved child, pressure increases when something is about to change. Think of a seed buried in the ground. Before it breaks through the soil, there is pressure from all sides. The earth presses in. The shell must split. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. But beneath the surface, life is pushing upward. The pressure you feel is not meant to crush you. It is signaling growth. You have been tempted to give up recently. You have wondered if it would be easier to lower your expectations, to stop hoping so boldly, to settle for what is comfortable. But I am urging you not to retreat now. You did not come this far to turn back at the edge of transformation. There are conversations about you that you have not heard. There are opportunities aligning that you cannot yet see. There are hearts being softened in your favor. I am arranging details in ways that will make sense soon. If I showed you everything at once, it would overwhelm you. So I ask you to trust me in stages. You feel the tension between where you are and where you believe you are meant to be. That tension is not cruelty. It is stretch you. It is preparing you to hold what you have prayed for. If I handed you everything too early, it might crush you instead of bless you. Timing is part of protection. Imagine climbing a mountain. The final stretch is often the steepest. Your muscles burn. Your breathing grows heavy. You question whether you can take another step. But just beyond that ridge is the view you have been longing for. If you stop now, you miss the perspective waiting at the top. My beloved child, your breakthrough is not a distant dream. It is closer than your fear suggests. It may not arrive in the exact form you imagined, but it will carry the peace and clarity you have been craving. Stay faithful in small steps. Stay anchored in truth. Stay open to my direction. I am not teasing you with hope. I am leading you toward fulfillment. The pressure will not last forever. The waiting will not define your entire story. Soon, you will look back at this moment and realize that what felt like delay was actually divine preparation. Hold on a little longer. Trust a little deeper. The dawn is near, and I am walking you straight into it. My beloved child, as you stand this close to breakthrough, I must speak to something deeper. You have asked me to change your circumstances. You have asked me to remove the pressure, silence the fear, open the right doors. And I am moving in those areas. But there is something even more important that I am doing within you. I am not only treating the surface, I am healing the root. You see the symptoms clearly. The anxiety that rises without warning. The insecurity that whispers when you step into new spaces. The hesitation that holds you back from fully trusting others. You try to manage these symptoms. You try to cope, to push through, to distract yourself. But symptoms are signals. They point to something deeper that needs gentle restoration. There are moments in your past that left marks on your heart. Words spoken carelessly that shape how you see yourself. Rejections that convinced you that you were not enough. Failures that made you question your abilities. You learned to adapt. You built walls. You became cautious. And in many ways, those defenses helped you survive. But survival is not the same as wholeness. My beloved child, I do not want you merely surviving. I want you free. And freedom begins at the root. Imagine a tree that keeps producing bitter fruit. You could pick the fruit off branch by branch, but if the root remains sick, the fruit will always return the same. In the same way, if we only address your outward struggles without healing the wound beneath them, the cycle will continue. That is why I sometimes lead you back to memories you would rather avoid. Not to hurt you again, but to heal what was never properly restored. When I bring these things to the surface, it can feel uncomfortable. You may wonder why old emotions are resurfacing just when you thought you were moving forward. But resurfacing is not regression. It is revelation. I am exposing what has been hidden so I can mend it fully. I know you fear revisiting those tender places. You worry that if you open that door, the pain will overwhelm you. But you will not walk into it alone. I am with you in every memory. I was there when the wound happened, even if you did not sense me then. And I am here now, stronger than the hurt that tried to define you. Let me redefine you. You are not the rejection. You are not the mistake. You are not the disappointment someone else projected onto you. You are my beloved child. Chosen. Teen. Elm. The root of your identity must be grounded in my love, not in human opinion. Healing the root takes patience. It takes honesty. It takes surrender. You cannot rush it, and you cannot fake it. But as the root is restored, something beautiful begins to happen. Your reactions soften. Your confidence steadies. Your joy becomes less fragile. You stop being triggered by what once controlled you. This is deeper work than changing circumstances. This is transformation from the inside out. My beloved child, do not resist this process. When I nudge you to forgive, it is for your freedom. When I prompt you to release bitterness, it is because it has been weighing you down. When I ask you to trust again, it is because your future requires openness, not guarded fear. The breakthrough you desire is not only about what happens around you. It is about who you become within. And who you are becoming is stronger, freer, and more whole than you have ever been. Let me heal the root. Let me reach into the hidden places. Let me restore what was fractured. The fruit of your life will change naturally when the foundation is secure. You are safe with me, and I am committed not just to easing your pain, but to making you whole. My beloved child, as I heal the roots within you, there is another truth I must gently place in your heart. The people around you are not your source. They may bless you. They may support you. They may walk beside you for a season, but they are not the origin of your provision, your worth, or your destiny. I am. You have felt disappointment because someone did not show up the way you hoped. You have felt hurt because someone misunderstood you. You have felt anxious because someone's approval seemed uncertain. And in those moments, your peace rose and fell depending on how others responded. That is a heavy way to live. My beloved child, when you make people your source, even unintentionally, you give them power they were never meant to carry. No human heart can consistently fill the deepest places within you. No relationship can replace the security that comes from knowing you are fully held by me. When you expect others to be your ultimate anchor, you set both them and yourself up for strain. This does not mean you are wrong for desiring love, affirmation, or partnership. I created you for connection. Community is a gift. But gifts are not meant to replace the giver. When you root your identity in me first, relationships become healthier. You no longer cling out of fear. You no longer panic when someone shifts. You no longer lose yourself trying to maintain approval. Think of a river flowing steadily from a mountain spring. The river does not depend on the rocks along its path to create water. The source is higher, deeper, constant. In the same way, your supply flows from me. Peace flows from me. Wisdom flows from me. Opportunities flow from me. People may be channels, but they are not the spring. When someone closes a door, it does not mean your future is closing. When someone rejects you, it does not mean you are rejected by destiny. When someone fails you, it does not mean you are abandoned. I am not limited by human decisions. I can redirect, restore, and replace in ways you cannot imagine. You have spent energy trying to manage how others perceive you. You have rehearsed conversations in your mind, hoping to secure understanding. You have adjusted parts of yourself to avoid conflict or loss. But my beloved child, when you know I am your source, you stop striving for validation. You speak with honesty. You walk with quiet confidence. You release what is not aligned. There may be some people in your life right now who are temporary, not because they are bad, but because their role in your journey is complete. If you cling to them as your source, you will struggle while I shift the season. But if you trust me as your source, you can release with peace, knowing I will supply what you need next. And there are others I am preparing to bring into your life, people who will sharpen you, support you, and align with your growth. But they cannot take the place that belongs to me. When I remain at the center, every other relationship finds its proper balance. My beloved child, I do not compete with others for your heart. I invite you to rest in me first. When you draw your strength from me, you become less shaken by human inconsistency. You forgive more freely. You expect less perfection. You love without losing yourself. Let this truth settle deeply within you. Your security does not depend on someone else's mood, decision, or opinion. Your future does not hinge on one person's approval. I am your source. I am your provider. I am your constant. And when you truly grasp that, a new freedom will rise inside you, a freedom to love without fear, to release without panic, and to walk forward without feeling empty. My beloved child, this is your confirmation. You have been asking me for clarity. You have been whispering, Lord, if this is you, show me. If you are moving, confirm it. And I am answering you now. This moment is not accidental. This stirring in your spirit is not imagined. I am aligning things in your life even now. You have felt the tension. You have sensed the shift. You have wondered whether to step forward or hold back. Hear me clearly. I am guiding you. The doors that remain open are not random. The ones that have closed were not mistakes. I am positioning you with care, even when the movement feels subtle. My beloved child, your prayers have not fallen into silence. Every tear you cried was collected. Every desperate thought was heard. Every time you said, I don't know what to do, I was already preparing your next step. Confirmation does not always arrive in thunder. Sometimes it comes as a steady peace that rises within you, even when circumstances remain uncertain. That peace you are beginning to feel, that is me. You have asked whether you are on the right path. I tell you now, continue walking. Continue trusting. Continue choosing courage over fear. The growth inside you is evidence of my hand upon you. The clarity forming in your thoughts is evidence of my guidance. The healing unfolding in your heart is evidence of my restoration. Do not let doubt steal this moment. You needed reassurance, and I have given it. You needed direction, and I am providing it step by step. You needed to know that I am still writing your story, and I am. This confirmation is not only about what I will do for you. It is also about what I am doing through you. There are others who feel alone tonight. There are hearts quietly breaking, minds battling fear, souls searching for hope. And just as I reached you through this message, I am reaching them. My beloved child, when you sow into this mission, you become a river of light in someone else's darkness. When you release a seed through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description and even in the QR code before you, you are not supporting a platform. You are opening doors for my word to travel further. As I have declared, give, and it shall be given unto you. And I speak that promise over you now as living truth. When you move at my prompting, heaven responds. Do not delay when I stir your heart. Let your generosity become a prophetic act of obedience. Every gift becomes oil for the lamp that keeps this message burning across nations. I bless the hands that give, and I multiply what they release. I see the sacrifice, whether large or small, and I breathe increase upon it. Step forward in faith and sow. Obey the stirring within you and watch what I will do through your yes. My beloved child, this is your confirmation. I am with you. I am leading you. And what I have begun in your life, I will surely complete. My beloved child, there is something you still carry in your heart, a closed door. You tried. You prayed. You hoped. And when it did not open, you felt the sting of disappointment. You wondered if you had misheard me. You questioned your worth. You replayed the moment again and again, asking what you could have done differently. But I need you to see this clearly now. The door that closed was my protection. From your side, it looked like rejection. From your side, it felt like loss. But from my side, it was mercy. I see the full path. I see the consequences attached to every doorway. I see what would have drained you, distracted you, diminished you. And because I love you, I intervened. Imagine a child reaching toward a flame, fascinated by the light, unaware of the burn it would cause. A loving father does not stand back and allow harm simply because the child desires it. He pulls the hand away. The child may cry in frustration, not understanding the danger that was just avoided. My beloved child, sometimes you cry over doors that would have wounded you. There are opportunities that look perfect on the surface but carried hidden compromises. There were relationships that felt promising but would have required you to shrink parts of yourself to remain accepted. There were paths that seemed faster but would have led you away from the purpose I am shaping within you. You thought that closed door meant you were not chosen. But I tell you now, you were chosen for something better. It is natural to grieve what you expected. I do not dismiss your feelings. Disappointment is real. Hope deferred can ache deeply. But do not confuse a closed door with a closed future. Your destiny does not depend on one opportunity. I am not limited to one pathway to bless you. When one door shuts, it often protects you from settling for less than what aligns with your calling. You might have been comfortable there. You might have found temporary satisfaction. But temporary satisfaction is not the same as lasting fulfillment. I refuse to let you build your life on foundations that cannot sustain you. My beloved child, trust the redirection. You may not yet see the reason. You may still feel the sting. But clarity will come. One day you will look back and say, "Now I understand." You will see how that rejection redirected you toward growth. How that delay developed patience. How that no positioned you for a greater yes. There are doors I close to protect your peace. There are doors I close to guard your heart. There are doors I close because they would have tied you to a season that has already ended. I am not blocking your progress. I am preserving your purpose. Do not chase what I have shut. Do not beg for entry where I have removed access. If I close it, let it remain closed. The energy you spend trying to reopen it only drains the strength you need for the door I am preparing to open. And hear me gently. If someone walked away, if something ended unexpectedly, if plans dissolved without explanation, it does not mean you were inadequate. It means I saw something you did not, and I acted. My beloved child, lift your eyes from the closed door. Turn toward me. I am not withholding good from you. I am guiding you toward it. The hallway may feel uncertain right now, but it is not empty. I am walking beside you. Trust my protection. Trust my timing. Trust that every closed door under my hand is not punishment, but love in action. My beloved child, I want you to be honest with yourself for a moment. You have been carrying too much alone. You have convinced yourself that you must stay strong, that you must figure everything out, that you must not burden anyone with your struggles. You have worn independence like armor, but that armor is growing heavy. I never designed you to carry life by yourself. You have been holding responsibilities in one hand and worries in the other. You wake up already thinking about what needs to be solved. You go to sleep replaying what you did not finish. Even in moments of rest, your mind keeps working. You rarely allow yourself to truly exhale. My beloved child, I see the strain in your spirit. I see how you try to manage outcomes that are beyond your control. I see how you try to anticipate every possible problem so you will not be caught off guard. You believe that if you prepare enough, plan enough, thick enough, you can prevent pain. But you are exhausting yourself trying to control what was never meant to rest on your shoulders. Imagine a small child attempting to carry a load far heavier than their strength allows. The child strains, determined not to drop it, afraid to admit they cannot handle it. All the while, the father stands nearby, arms open, ready to lift the weight with ease. The only thing required is for the child to release it. That is where you are now. You have grown accustomed to self-reliance. Perhaps you learned early in life that depending on others led to disappointment. Perhaps you felt you had no choice but to become strong quickly. And I honor the resilience that formed in you. It kept you going. It helped you survive. But now I am inviting you into something deeper than survival. I am inviting you into trust. Trust does not mean passivity. It means partnership. It means acknowledging that you are not alone in the process. It means bringing me your concerns before they become overwhelming. It means saying, Father, I cannot carry this without you. My beloved child, surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. You have been holding on to certain fears because you believe if you loosen your grip, everything will fall apart. But what if the opposite is true? What if releasing control is the very thing that allows stability to form? What if letting me carry the weight actually frees you to walk more lightly? There are burdens you were never meant to bear, other people's expectations, unresolved conflicts, outcomes that belong to someone else's choices. You have tried to fix what is not yours to fix. You have tried to heal what is not yours to heal. You have tried to manage perceptions that are not yours to manage. Release them. When you hand me your burdens, I do not sigh in frustration. I do not accuse you of being dramatic. I do not grow impatient. I gather them gently. I sort through them with wisdom. I carry what overwhelms you. And I teach you what is truly yours to hold. You will find that some things are lighter than you imagined once you stop gripping them with fear. You will discover that rest is not laziness. It is restoration. When you rest in me, your mind becomes clearer. Your heart becomes steadier. Your decisions become less reactive and more grounded. My beloved child, you do not have to prove your strength to me. I already know your capacity. What I desire now is your closeness. Come closer. Lay the weight down. Speak the worries aloud. Let your shoulders drop. You were never meant to carry your world alone. And you do not have to anymore. My beloved child, there is something I must settle in your heart once and for all. Your identity is not your mistakes. It is not your worst decision. It is not that moment you wish you could undo. It is not the failure that still tries to replay in your mind when you are quiet. You are not defined by what went wrong. Yet I know how easily you attach labels to yourself. When something falls apart, you say, I ruin everything. When you stumble, you say, I'm not good enough. When you look back at your past, you see a list of regrets and assume they tell the full story of who you are. But my beloved child, mistakes are events. They are not identities. You have confused what you did with who you are. Imagine a child learning to walk. The child stumbles, falls, and bumps into furniture. But no loving father looks at that child and says, you are a failure at walking. The fall is part of the learning. It is not a declaration of inability. In the same way, your missteps have been part of your growth, not proof of your inadequacy. Yes, you have made choices you regret. Yes, there are things you would do differently now. That is called maturity. The fact that you feel conviction, that you desire better, that you reflect and learn, that is evidence of growth, not condemnation. But shame has been whispering to you. Shame says because you did this, you are this. Shame wraps itself around your identity and tries to make you shrink back from opportunity, from connection, from purpose. It tells you to stay small so you will not risk failing again. But shame let not come from me. When I correct you, I do it with clarity and hope. I show you what can be improved, and then I empower you to move forward. I do not chain you to your past. I do not replay your failures to control you. I restore you. My beloved child, you must stop carrying expired versions of yourself. The person you were 5 years ago is not the person you are today. The understanding you lacked then hath been replaced with wisdom now. The insecurity that once ruled you has been softened by experience. You are evolving. You are learning. You are becoming. Do not keep punishing yourself for lessons you have already learned. If you have asked for forgiveness, I have given it. If you have turned your heart back toward me, I have received you fully. I do not keep a record to use against you later. My mercy is not temporary. My love is not conditional. You worry that others remember your mistakes. Some may, but their memory does not override my declaration. I call you redeemed. I call you chosen. I call you capable of growth beyond your past. Think of a sculptor shaping stone. At first, the marble looks rough and unformed. Chips fall away with each strike of the chisel. If you judge the sculpture mid-process, you might think it was ruined. But the sculptor sees the final design from the beginning. I am shaping you. The pieces that fell away were never your true identity. My beloved child, lift your head. You are not disqualified from your future because of your past. You are not too broken to be used. You are not too flawed to be loved deeply and fully. I see the whole picture, and I am not disappointed in you. Let go of the label. Release the self-accusation. Step into the truth that you are still mine, still growing, still becoming someone stronger and wiser because of what you have walked through. Your mistakes are chapters, not conclusions, and your story is far from finished. My beloved child, I know there is a clock in your mind that never seems to stop ticking. You measure your life in milestones and deadlines. You compare where you thought you would be by now with where you currently stand. And sometimes, a quiet panic rises within you. You wonder if time is slipping away. You fear you are behind. But I need you to hear me clearly. Time is not running out. You have allowed the world's timeline to become your measuring stick. You see others achieving, building, announcing, progressing. And without realizing it, you begin to calculate your own worth against their pace. You ask yourself why certain dreams have not unfolded yet. You question whether you waited too long, hesitated too much, or missed your moment. My beloved child, you are not in competition with anyone else's clock. I do not rush. I do not forget. I do not miscalculate. What feels delayed to you is not delayed to me. I see the beginning and the end at once. I understand the precise timing required for every door to open at the right moment. If something has not happened yet, it is not because you are forgotten. It is because it is not yet aligned. Think of fruit growing on a tree. If it is picked too early, it is bitter and hard. If it is left to ripen fully, it becomes sweet and nourishing. You may wish I would accelerate everything, but premature blessings can become burdens. I care too much about you to give you something before you are ready to carry it with strength. You have also underestimated how much growth has already taken place within you. You look at external milestones, but I look at internal transformation. Patience has deepened. Discernment has sharpened. Resilience has formed. These are not small achievements. They are foundations for what is coming. My beloved child, there is no expiration date on my promises. The dream that still stirs in your heart was not placed there by accident. If I planted it, I will tend it. If I gave you the vision, I will also provide the timing. Your responsibility is not to force it into existence. Your responsibility is to stay aligned, to keep growing, to remain open. You fear that opportunities are closing because of your age, your past, or your current position. But I am not limited by those things. I can create opportunities where none existed before. I can restore years you believe were wasted. I can accelerate progress in ways that surpass what you imagined. There are stories you do not yet know. Stories of people who thought it was too late, only to discover that their greatest chapter was just beginning. I am not finished writing yours. The pace may not match your expectations, but it matches my wisdom. Release the panic. When you rush from fear, you make decisions rooted in anxiety instead of clarity. When you trust my timing, you move with steadiness. You stop scrambling. You start listening. You begin to see that each season builds upon the next with intentional care. My beloved child, you are not late to your own life. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next step I have prepared. There is still time. There is still possibility. There is still purpose unfolding. Breathe deeply. Let the clock in your mind grow quiet. I am holding your timeline in hands that do not tremble, and what I have planned for you will not pass you by. My beloved child, there are things you have quietly mourned, opportunities that slipped through your fingers, dreams that seem to fade with time. You carry a subtle grief for what could have been. You wonder if those moments are gone forever, if certain chapters have closed beyond repair. But I need you to understand something deeply. I am reordering what you thought was lost. Loss is real. Disappointment is real. I do not dismiss the ache you feel when something ends. Yet what feels final to you is not always final in my hands. I am not bound by the sequence of events the way you are. I see beyond the apparent ending. I see what can be restored, redirected, or redeemed. Imagine a tapestry being woven. From the back side, it looks like tangled threads, colors crossing in ways that make no sense. If you judged it from that angle, you might call it ruined. But when you turn it around, the design is clear, intentional, even beautiful. You have been looking at some parts of your life from the backside. I am weaving from the front. There were doors you walked through that did not lead where you hoped. There were seasons you invested in that did not produce the harvest you expected. You wonder if the time was wasted. My beloved child, nothing surrendered to me is ever wasted. Even what did not work taught you something. It refined your desires. It clarified your boundaries. It revealed what truly matters to you. The experience you gained is now part of your strength. The lessons you learned are seeds for future wisdom. I am reordering those experiences so they support you instead of haunt you. There are also things you believe you permanently missed. You think, if only I had chosen differently. If only I had acted sooner. But you see only one version of the future that could have been. I see many paths. I can open new opportunities that align more fully with who you are now, not who you were then. My beloved child, redemption is one of my greatest works. I take what seemed broken and create beauty from it. I take what felt like failure and transform it into foundation. I take what looked like delay and use it to strengthen your character. The story is not over where you thought it ended. You may not receive back the exact form of what was lost. Sometimes restoration looks different than repetition. But different does not mean lesser. It can mean better suited for the person you have become. There are conversations that will return in healthier ways. There are dreams that will resurface with clearer direction. There are passions that will reignite once fear loosens its grip. I am not teasing you with false hope. I am telling you that my ability to reorder your life exceeds your ability to ruin it. Let go of the belief that one mistake destroyed everything. Let go of the fear that one closed door sealed your fate. Let go of the narrative that says, it's too late. I can restore years. I can realign paths. I can bring back opportunities in forms that surprise you. And even when something is truly meant to remain in the past, I will replace it with something that carries greater peace and deeper fulfillment. My beloved child, trust me with what you thought was gone. Place it gently in my hands. Release the tight grip of regret. I am not only moving you forward, I am also healing what lies behind you. Nothing surrendered to me is beyond restoration. And what I am rebuilding in your life will stand stronger than what you lost. My beloved child, listen carefully now. Something is shifting. You may not see it fully yet, but you can feel it. There is a subtle change in your perspective, a quiet strengthening in your spirit, a growing clarity where confusion once ruled. This is not accidental. This is the shift. For a long time, you have been in preparation, healing roots, releasing fear, letting go of what closed, learning to trust my timing. That season was necessary. But now, the lessons are beginning to settle into confidence. The weight you once carried so tightly is loosening. You are responding differently than you would have before. And that difference is the evidence of transformation. Shifts rarely announce themselves with loud signs. They happen in the unseen spaces first. They happen when you pause instead of react. When you choose peace instead of panic. When you speak with calm instead of insecurity. You may think these are small changes, but they are powerful. My beloved child, this is the moment where preparation begins to turn into movement. You have been waiting for external confirmation, but the first confirmation is internal. You are no longer as shaken by what once destabilized you. You are no longer as dependent on immediate answers. You are no longer as eager to chase what is not aligned. That is growth. That is maturity. That is readiness forming within you. When a season shifts, it often feels both exciting and uncomfortable. There is anticipation, but also uncertainty. You sense that you cannot go back to who you were, yet you are not fully sure who you are becoming. That in-between space can feel fragile, but it is sacred. Imagine standing at the shoreline where the tide begins to change. The water slowly pulls back before it moves forward again with strength. If you only watch the surface, you might think it was retreating. But the retreat is part of the rhythm that prepares the next wave. What you thought was loss was preparation. What you thought was stagnation with positioning. My beloved child, this shift requires attentiveness. I need you alert, not anxious. Aware, not afraid. There are decisions ahead that will reflect the new strength forming inside you. Do not default to old patterns. Do not shrink back into familiar insecurity. Stand in what you have learned. You may notice that certain conversations no longer interest you. Certain fears no longer control you. Certain temptations no longer appeal to you. That is because your appetite is changing. You are craving deeper peace, clearer purpose, stronger alignment. That craving is my spirit drawing you forward. But shifts also require obedience. When I nudge you to speak up, speak. When I prompt you to step back, step back. When I direct you towards something new, do not hesitate because it feels unfamiliar. Growth often feels unfamiliar at first. You are not who you were. Do not treat yourself as if you are still limited by the same fears. The strength I have been building in you is real. The clarity forming in your mind is real. The peace settling in your heart is real. This is not hype. It is progression. My beloved child, pay attention to what feels aligned and what feels forced. Pay attention to where peace rests and where it withdraws. I am guiding you through this shift carefully. You do not need to rush it. You only need to cooperate with it. The ground beneath you is changing, not to destabilize you but to elevate you. The perspective you carry now is different than before. And from this new vantage point, you will begin to see opportunities that once felt invisible. Listen carefully. This is the shift, and you are ready for it. My beloved child, you have worked hard. You have tried to think your way forward, plan your way upward, push your way through resistance. Effort is not wrong. Diligence is not wrong. I honor your willingness to try. But there is a truth you must understand in this new season. Obedience will unlock what effort cannot. There are doors that will not respond to force. There are breakthroughs that will not yield to overthinking. There are outcomes that cannot be earned by sheer willpower. Some things open only when your heart aligns with my direction, even if that direction feels small, simple, or quiet. You have been trained by the world to believe that more effort equals more results. And sometimes that is true in practical matters. But spiritual alignment works differently. When you move in step with me, even small actions carry multiplied impact. When you move outside of alignment, even great effort can feel exhausting and unproductive. My beloved child, obedience is not about blind submission. It is about trust. It is about hearing my gentle instruction and choosing to follow it, even when it challenges your logic. It is about releasing the need to understand every outcome before taking the first step. There may be something I have already placed on your heart, a conversation you need to have, a habit you need to release, a step you need to take, a boundary you need to set. You have sensed it, but you hesitated because it did not look dramatic or impressive. You thought the answer must be bigger. But sometimes the key is small. Imagine a massive door secured by a simple lock. You could push against that door with all your strength and still fail to open it. Yet a small key, placed correctly, turns the lock with ease. Obedience is that key. It may feel small compared to your effort, but it unlocks what force never could. You have been asking me for increase, for clarity, for movement. But increase often follows obedience. Clarity often follows obedience. Movement often follows obedience. When you take the step I have shown you, even if it feels ordinary, you position yourself for the next instruction. Do not wait for perfect confidence before you obey. Confidence grows through action. You will not always feel fully ready. Sometimes obedience requires stepping forward while your voice trembles, while your heart beats fast. But each step builds strength. My beloved child, I am not trying to make your path complicated. I am simplifying it. Listen for my voice. Notice where peace rests, and notice what conviction gently presses on your heart. A gentle pressure is guidance, not condemnation. Obedience may look like forgiveness when pride wants to hold a grudge. It may look like patience when you want to rush. It may look like generosity when fear says to hold back. It may look like rest when anxiety tells you to keep striving. These choices may seem small, but they shift your alignment in powerful ways. You do not have to figure out 10 steps ahead. Focus on the next one. When you obey in the present moment, I handle the future. My beloved child, trust that I am not leading you toward harm. I am leading you toward fullness. Obedience is not restriction. It is protection. It is not limitation. It is liberation. You have tried effort. Now try alignment. Take the step I have been whispering to you. Turn the key. Watch what begins to open, not because you forced it, but because you trusted me enough to obey. My beloved child, there were moments you thought would undo you. Seasons when the pressure felt relentless. Words that pierced deeper than you expected. Situations that seemed designed to drain your hope. You asked me quietly, why is this happening? Why does it feel like everything is pushing against me? But I need you to see this now with new eyes. The attack meant to break you has strengthened you. Not every hardship is sent by me, but nothing touches your life without passing through my awareness. What was intended to discourage you, I have been using to develop you. What was meant to weaken your confidence has instead built endurance inside you. Think of metal placed into fire. The fire does not destroy true gold, it refines it. Impurities rise to the surface and are removed. The heat reveals what is genuine. In the same way, the pressure you endured revealed strengths you did not know you possessed. It exposed areas that needed healing. It clarified who truly stands with you and who does not. There were nights when you cried in frustration, believing you were falling apart. But even in those tears, resilience was forming. You learned to pray more honestly. You learned to detach from shallow validation. You learned to depend on me instead of on shifting circumstances. My beloved child, you are not as fragile as you once believed. The criticism that once would have crushed you now rolls off more easily. The rejection that once would have defined you now feels like redirection. The delay that once would have caused panic now invites patience. These changes did not happen overnight. They were forged in struggle. When storms hit a tree repeatedly, its roots either grow deeper or it falls. You have grown deeper. You may not see it clearly yet, but you respond differently now. You think more carefully. You pause before reacting. You discern more wisely. That is strength. The enemy of your peace wanted you to shrink back, to silence your voice, to doubt your calling, to believe that the resistance meant you were unworthy. But resistance often indicates movement. When you advance, opposition increases. The pressure was not proof of failure, it was proof that you were moving forward. My beloved child, even the betrayal you experienced did not destroy you. It confused you. It made you question your judgment. But it also sharpened your discernment. It taught you to value authenticity over flattery. It taught you to listen more closely to my guidance about who to trust. And the delay you faced, it did not erase your destiny. It refined your motives. It made you ask yourself deeper questions about why you desire what you desire. It strengthened your patience and purified your intention. You thought you were barely surviving, but you were being strengthened. Look at how far you have come. Look at the mindset you carry now compared to before. Look at the boundaries you are willing to set. Look at the calm you can access even in uncertainty. It did not come from comfort. It came from pressure. My beloved child, do not resent the fire. It has prepared you for what is ahead. The next level of your journey requires this strength. It requires the maturity that hardship built in you. You are not damaged goods. You are refined. You are not broken beyond repair. You are tempered. The attack did not define you. It developed you. Stand tall in that truth. What tried to break you has instead made you stronger, wiser, and more aligned with me. And the strength you now carry will support you in the blessings that are still to come. My beloved child, as you grow stronger and more aligned, you may notice something else happening. Certain things are falling away. Certain connections feel different. Certain environments no longer fit the person you are becoming. And part of you feels unsettled by that change. But hear me clearly. I am removing what cannot go where you're going. Growth requires space. Elevation requires lightness. If you try to carry everything from your past into your future, you will feel weighed down. There are mindsets, habits, relationships, and even ambitions that once served a purpose in your life, but they are not designed for your next season. This removal is not punishment. It is pruning. Imagine a gardener carefully trimming branches from a tree. As while watching, it may look harsh. Why cut away healthy-looking branches? Why remove what seems alive? But the gardener sees what others cannot. He knows that without pruning, the tree's energy will be divided. The fruit will be smaller. The growth will be limited. Pruning redirects strength toward what truly matters. In the same way, I am redirecting your energy. There are conversations that drain your peace. There are commitments that stretch you beyond what I asked of you. There are patterns of thinking that keep you tied to old fears. If I allow all of these to continue unchecked, they will limit your capacity to step into what I am preparing. You may feel sadness as certain people grow distant. You may feel confusion as old dreams fade. You may even question whether you did something wrong. But sometimes distance is alignment. Sometimes fading is refinement. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually release. My beloved child, not everyone is meant to walk with you forever. Some people were companions for a specific chapter. They helped shape you. They taught you lessons. They shared experiences that were meaningful. But if they remain beyond their appointed time, they may unintentionally hinder your growth. Do not cling out of fear. Trust my hand. I am not stripping your life bare. I am clearing space. There are new relationships, deeper connections, and more aligned opportunities that require room to enter. If your hands are tightly gripping what no longer fits, you will struggle to receive what does. This process can feel lonely for a moment. When the familiar shifts, you may feel exposed. But loneliness is temporary. Alignment is lasting. I would rather you walk a brief stretch with fewer people who understand your direction than remain surrounded by many who distract you from it. You are also releasing parts of yourself that no longer match your calling. Old insecurities, old coping mechanisms, old definitions of success. These layers are shedding because they cannot survive in the light of who you are becoming. My beloved child, do not chase what I am removing. If something repeatedly pulls away despite your effort to hold it, pause. Ask me whether it belongs in your future. If peace disappears when you try to maintain it, listen carefully. I guide not only by opening doors but also by closing access. Where you are going requires clarity. It requires focus. It requires freedom from attachments that dilute your strength. Trust that what remains is what is meant to stay. Trust that what leaves is making room for something better aligned. I do not remove without purpose. I do not prune without vision. You are rising into a season that demands lighter baggage and clearer vision. Let me carry away what cannot travel with you. The road ahead is higher, and you will walk it more freely when your hands are no longer full of what was only meant for yesterday. My beloved child, there is something tender I must tell you. Your tears have been collected. Not one of them has fallen unnoticed. Not one silent cry, not one trembling breath, not one moment of breaking down in the dark has escaped my attention. You may think tears are a sign of weakness. You may have wiped them away quickly, embarrassed by how deeply you felt. You may have told yourself to be stronger, to hold it together, to stop being so affected. But your tears are not shameful. They are sacred. Every tear carried a story. Some came from disappointment, some from betrayal, some from exhaustion, some from loyalty, some from prayers that felt unanswered. I saw each one. I understood the weight behind it. Imagine a loving father watching his child struggle. He does not mock their tears. He does not grow irritated by their pain. He kneels down. He listens. He cares. That is how I look at you in your most vulnerable moments. There were nights you cried quietly so no one else would hear. You felt alone in your struggle, wondering if anyone truly understood. But I was there. When your heart felt heavy, I was near. When your thoughts felt overwhelming, I was steady beside you. My beloved child, your tears were not wasted. You thought they represented defeat, but they were seeds. Here soften the soil of the heart. They prepare you for growth. The pain you released through them made space for healing to enter. What you cried over did not break you, it opened you. There were tears you shed over people who left, over words that cut deeply, over opportunities that vanished, over prayers that seemed delayed. In those moments, you wondered if I was distant. But often, my greatest work happens in your most broken places. You learned compassion through your pain. You became more gentle with others because you knew what it felt like to hurt. You developed depth that comfort alone could never create. Those tears shape your character. And hear this clearly, there is restoration connected to your sorrow. What caused you to weep will not have the final word. I am able to bring joy where there was grief. I am able to restore hope where there was despair. I am able to turn what felt unbearable into a testimony of strength. You may not see the full picture yet. You may still carry some sadness, but I am weaving even that into something meaningful. The places where you cried the hardest are often the places where you will stand the strongest. My beloved child, do not be ashamed of your tenderness. A hardened heart may avoid tears, but it also avoids growth. Your softness has allowed me to work deeply within you. Your willingness to feel has kept you alive to love, to hope, to believe again. There is coming a time when you will look back at these seasons and realize that your tears were chapters, not conclusions. You will see how I sustained you when you thought you could not continue. You will recognize how I held you when you felt like you were falling. Your tears have been seen. They have been honored, and they will not return empty. Trust that I am near in your sorrow and even nearer in your restoration. The same eyes that watched your tears are now watching over your healing, and what began in pain will end in strength. My beloved child, I know there are promises you once held tightly that now feel distant. Words spoken over your life. Dreams planted in your heart. Visions that once burned brightly within you. Time has passed. Circumstances shifted. Delays stretched longer than you expected. And quietly, you began to wonder if those promises had expired. But listen to me carefully now. The promise still stands. What I have spoken over your life does not dissolve because of delay. It does not weaken because of obstacles. It does not vanish because of your moments of doubt. My promises are not fragile. They are not dependent on perfect conditions. They are anchored in my faithfulness. You may feel as though you have drifted too far, stumbled too often, or waited too long. But my word over you is not revoked by your humanity. I knew your weaknesses before I ever placed the promise within you. I knew the detours, the lessons, the refining seasons. And still, I declared purpose over your life. My beloved child, delay is not denial. There are promises that require preparation. If fulfillment had arrived earlier, you would not have been ready to carry it with wisdom. Some dreams are heavy. They require maturity of heart, stability of character, clarity of mind. You have been developing in ways you did not even realize. Think of a foundation being laid for a great structure. The foundation is poured first, and then it must settle and strengthen before anything visible rises above it. If the structure were built too quickly, it would crack under pressure. In the same way, I have been strengthening your foundation. You have questioned whether you misheard me, whether you imagined the calling, whether you misunderstood the vision. But the longing that remains in your heart is not random. It has endured because I placed it there. And what I planned, I sustain. There were moments when you tried to bury the promise. You told yourself it was unrealistic. You convinced yourself it was safer not to hope. But every time you attempted to silence it, it resurfaced. That persistence is evidence of its origin. My beloved child, I do not tease you with dreams I have no intention of fulfilling. I shape them carefully. I refine them over time. Sometimes the dream looks different in its final form than it did in its early stage. What different does not mean diminished. It often means deeper. There are still chapters ahead that will align with what I have spoken. Opportunities will come that resonate with the original vision, yet fit the person you have now become. Doors will open that connect directly to seeds planted long ago. Do not measure my faithfulness by your current circumstances. Measure it by my character. I am steady. I am intentional. I do not forget what I have declared. Even now, things are aligning quietly. Conversations are unfolding. Paths are crossing. Skills are being developed. Confidence is being restored. The promise is not idle. It is in motion, even if you cannot see every detail. My beloved child, hold the promise gently, but confidently. Do not grip it with desperation. Rest in it with trust. I will bring it to fruition at the right time and in the right way. What I have spoken over you still stands. And nothing, not delay, not doubt, not detours, can cancel what I have ordained for your life. My beloved child, there is a quiet pressure that has been weighing on you. It is not always loud, but it lingers in the background of your thoughts. It whispers when you see others celebrating milestones. It nudges you when you reflect on your own progress. It tells you that you are behind. But I need you to release that lie. You are not behind. You have been measuring your journey against timelines that were never designed for you. You compare your beginnings to someone else's middle. You compare your process to someone else's highlight. And without realizing it, you begin to believe that your pace means something is wrong. My beloved child, your life is not a race against another person's calling. Each path I design is distinct. Some grow steadily in visible ways. Others develop quietly beneath the surface for a long time before rising suddenly. Both are valid. Both are purposeful. The pace of your growth does not determine its value. Imagine a garden filled with different kinds of plants. Some bloom quickly in early spring. Others take longer, requiring deeper roots and warmer soil. If you judge the slower plant by the speed of the faster one, you would assume it failed. But when its time comes, its bloom is just as intentional, just as beautiful. You have experienced delays that felt like setbacks. You have taken detours that seemed to cost you time. But those moments were not wasted. They shaped your character. They gave you wisdom that will serve you later. They refined your desires so you would pursue what truly aligns with your purpose. My beloved child, you are not late to your destiny. The fact that you are still seeking me, still learning, still growing, that is progress. You may not have reached every goal you once imagined by now, but you are not the same person you were then. Your perspective has deepened. Your resilience has strengthened. Your discernment has sharpened. Do not let comparison distort your view of your own life. Comparison steals joy. It steals gratitude. It blinds you to the unique path unfolding right before you. When you focus too much on someone else's timeline, you overlook the beauty of your own. There are things I am building in you that require patience. There are qualities forming in you that could not have developed in a rushed season. Stability, depth, compassion, clarity. These are not visible trophies, but they are foundations for lasting fulfillment. You are not behind. You are being prepared. And remember this: sometimes those who appear ahead are still struggling in areas you cannot see. You only witness the surface of their story. I see the entirety of yours. My beloved child, breathe deeply and release the pressure to catch up. There is no finish line you must reach to prove your worth. Your value is not determined by your speed. It is anchored in who you are and who you are becoming. Trust the rhythm I have set for your life. Trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. Trust that when your moment arrives, you will be ready for it, not rushed, not forced, but fully prepared. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next faithful step. My beloved child, I know that confidence has not always come easily to you. There were moments when you felt bold and certain, but there were also moments when doubt crept in and slowly chipped away at your assurance. Words spoken by others lingered longer than they should have. Failures replayed in your mind, and without realizing it, you began to question your own voice. But I am rebuilding your confidence. Not the fragile kind rooted in comparison, but the steady kind anchored in truth. True confidence does not shout to be heard. It does not demand validation. It does not rise and fall based on applause. True confidence is quiet. It stands firm even when misunderstood. It moves forward even when affirmation is delayed. That is the confidence I am forming within you. You once believed that confidence meant having no fear. But I am teaching you that confidence means trusting me even when fear tries to speak. It means stepping forward even when your hands tremble. It means remembering who you are when old insecurities attempt to return. My beloved child, you have survived the things you once thought would break you. You have endured criticism. You have walked through uncertainty. You have faced rejection and kept moving. These are not small victories. They are evidence of resilience. Yet sometimes, you overlook your own growth. You focus on what you still lack instead of what you have gained. You fixate on the areas where you feel inexperienced instead of recognizing the wisdom you now carry. But I see your progress clearly. I see how you pause before reacting. I see how you guard your peace more intentionally. I see how you seek discernment before making decisions. These are signs of maturity. Confidence grows when you align your identity with my truth instead of human opinion. If you anchor your worth in what others say, you will always feel unstable. Praise will inflate you briefly, and criticism will deflate you quickly. But when you anchor your identity in me, you become steady. You no longer chase approval because you already know you are accepted. Imagine a house built on solid rock. Storms may hit it. Winds may shake it. But it remains standing because its foundation is secure. That is what I am building within you, a foundation that does not crumble under pressure. My beloved child, I am also teaching you to trust your discernment. You have learned from past mistakes. You have grown wiser. You sense when something is not aligned. Do not dismiss that inner clarity. I am refining your ability to recognize what is right for you. There will be opportunities ahead that require you to speak boldly, to step into rooms that once intimidated you, to pursue goals that once felt out of reach. And when those moments arrive, you will not need to pretend to be confident. You will simply walk in the assurance that I am with you. Confidence does not mean you have all the answers. It means you trust the one who does. My beloved child, lift your head. Straighten your posture. Let your voice carry calm strength. You do not need to shrink to make others comfortable. You do not need to silence your dreams to avoid criticism. I am rebuilding what doubt tried to erode. I am strengthening what fear tried to weaken. And the confidence rising within you now is not temporary. It is rooted in truth. Walk forward with it. You are more prepared than you think. My beloved child, when I first called you to listen urgently, it was not to fill you with panic. It was not to rush you into fear-driven decisions. My urgency is about alignment, not anxiety. There is a difference, and you must understand it clearly. Panic feels chaotic. It pressures you to act immediately without reflection. It tightens your chest and clowns your thoughts. It convinces you that if you do not move now, everything will collapse. But alignment carries a different tone. It may feel pressing, but it is steady. It calls you higher without suffocating you. My beloved child, the urgency I speak of is an invitation to come back into focus. You have been adjusting, healing, releasing, growing. Now I am drawing you into deeper alignment with who you are becoming. Alignment means your thoughts, your actions, and your direction begin to match the purpose I have placed within you. It means you stop tolerating what drains you and start choosing what strengthens you. There are areas of your life where you have sensed a subtle misalignment. Conversations that feel forced. Habits that leave you feeling empty. Goals that once excited you but now feel hollow. You have felt that inner nudge, but you hesitated to respond. That nudge is not panic. It is guidance. Imagine a compass slowly drifting off true north. At first, the shift is barely noticeable. But over time, the path veers further away from the intended destination. Correction does not require frantic movement. It requires intentional adjustment. A slight turn, made at the right time, prevents a long detour later. This is that moment of adjustment. My beloved child, I am asking you to examine what aligns with peace and what aligns with fear, what aligns with growth and what aligns with comfort alone, what aligns with truth and what aligns with insecurity. You do not need to fix everything at once. You only need to respond honestly. Alignment may require difficult conversations. It may require boundaries. It may require letting go of something that once felt safe. But it does not require panic. It requires courage rooted in trust. When you operate from panic, you rush into decisions that create more confusion. When you operate from alignment, your steps become measured and clear. You move with intention. You speak with calm. You act with discernment. My beloved child, breathe deeply right now. Feel the difference between anxiety and clarity. Anxiety shouts. Clarity speaks firmly but gently. That steady voice drawing you toward change, that is me. I am not trying to overwhelm you. I am refining you. I am not pushing you into chaos. I am guiding you into order. The urgency is not about speed. It is about direction. You are entering a season where alignment will matter more than effort, where peace will matter more than popularity, where authenticity will matter more than approval. And to step fully into that season, you must allow me to adjust what is slightly off course. Do not resist this refinement. It is not here to harm you. It is here to sharpen you. It is here to ensure that when the doors open, you are positioned correctly to walk through them with confidence. My beloved child, let the urgency settle into clarity. Let it steady your focus instead of shaking your peace. Alignment will lead you where panic never could. And I am guiding you gently into that alignment now. My beloved child, you have grown accustomed to steady progress, to slow healing, to gradual shifts, and those seasons were necessary. They built your foundation. They strengthened your roots. But now I need you to prepare your heart for acceleration. Acceleration does not always mean chaos. It does not mean losing control. It means that what has been developing quietly will begin to move more visibly. Opportunities may arise more quickly. Connections may form more suddenly. Answers may come with greater clarity. And if your heart is not prepared, sudden movement can feel overwhelming. I have been stretching your capacity for this reason. Think of a runner training for a race. For a long time, the pace is moderate. Muscles build strength. Endurance increases. Discipline forms. But when the race begins, the speed changes. Without preparation, the runner would collapse. With preparation, the acceleration becomes exhilarating rather than frightening. My beloved child, you are entering a season where the pace may shift. Doors you prayed about may open in ways you did not expect. Ideas that seemed distant may suddenly gain traction. Conversations that once felt stalled may move forward rapidly. And you may feel a mixture of excitement and fear. That is why I say, prepare your heart. Preparation is not about overthinking. It is about readiness. It is about believing that what you have prayed for is possible. It is about releasing the identity of someone who is always waiting and stepping into the identity of someone who is ready to receive. Sometimes, when blessings arrive quickly, you question whether you deserve them. You hesitate. You second guess. You look for reasons to delay your own advancement. But I am asking you to release that hesitation. If I open the door, walk through it confidently. Acceleration also requires humility. As movement increases, remain grounded. Stay connected to me. Do not let sudden progress distract you from the foundation we have built. Speed without alignment leads to imbalance. But acceleration with alignment leads to impact. My beloved child, there are seeds you planted long ago that are nearing harvest. You may have forgotten some of them. Acts of obedience, moments of generosity, decisions made in faith. Those seeds have not been idle. They have been growing beneath the surface. And when harvest time comes, it often arrives quickly. You do not need to force this season. You only need to remain open to it. Prepare your heart by releasing old limitations. Stop telling yourself that you must struggle indefinitely. Stop expecting disappointment as your default outcome. Shift your expectation from fear to faith. Acceleration may also require quick obedience. When I nudge you, respond. When I open a window of opportunity, step through it. Do not delay because it feels unfamiliar. The unfamiliar can be the doorway to growth. My beloved child, you asked me for change. Change is coming. But change feels different when it moves swiftly. Let your heart expand instead of contract. Let your trust rise instead of your anxiety. You are not being rushed into something you cannot handle. You are being elevated into something you have been prepared for. Stand ready. Stay aligned. Keep your heart open and your spirit attentive. What had been slow will not always remain slow. And when acceleration begins, you will recognize that every previous season was shaping you for this very momentum. My beloved child, as you prepare for acceleration, I must draw your attention to something powerful and often overlooked. What you speak next matters. Your words are not empty sounds. They shape your perspective. They influence your decisions. They reinforce either faith or fear within your heart. You have experienced seasons where negative thoughts seemed louder than hope. In those moments it became easy to speak from frustration, to declare defeat before the battle was finished, to describe yourself in ways that diminished your worth. But I am calling you now into a new awareness. Life and direction are often shaped by agreement. When you consistently say, "I can't," you begin to live within that limitation. When you repeatedly declare, "Nothing ever works for me," your mind searches for evidence to confirm it. Words become pathways in your thinking, and those pathways eventually guide your actions. My beloved child, I am not asking you to deny reality. I am asking you to speak truth with alignment. There is a difference between acknowledging a challenge and declaring yourself defeated by it. There is a difference between admitting you feel tired and proclaiming you will never recover. Speak honestly, but do not speak hopelessly. Imagine a gardener tending a field. If he continually speaks curses over his soil, believing nothing will grow, he will neglect it. But if he speaks expectation and tends it with care, he positions it for harvest. Your heart is like that field. What you declare over it matters. You are entering a season where your words must align with where you are going, not where you have been. If I am leading you toward growth, stop speaking as if you are permanently stuck. If I am restoring your confidence, stop labeling yourself as incapable. If I am opening doors, stop declaring that opportunity avoids you. My beloved child, listen to the conversations you have with yourself. Notice the tone. Notice the patterns. Are you repeating old narratives? Are you reinforcing past disappointments? Or are you allowing my truth to shape your declarations? Words create atmosphere. When you speak peace, your mind begins to settle. When you speak gratitude, your heart begins to soften. When you speak expectation rooted in trust, your spirit rises. This does not mean challenges disappear instantly, but it means you face them with a different posture. Instead of saying, "This will ruin everything," you say, "I will navigate this with wisdom." Instead of saying, "I always fail," you say, "I am learning and growing." Instead of saying nothing changes, you say changes unfolding step by step. Small shifts in language create powerful shifts in perspective. My beloved child, what you speak next can either reinforce fear or strengthen faith. Choose carefully. Speak with intention. Let your words reflect the truth I have been planting in you. When doubt tries to rise, counter it with truth. When insecurity whispers, answer it with confidence rooted in me. When anxiety presses, declare peace. You are not powerless in your journey. Your voice is part of your alignment. Your declarations help anchor your heart to the direction I am guiding you. So before you speak carelessly about your future, pause. Before you label yourself in frustration, breathe. Before you declare defeat, remember who walks beside you. What you speak next matters. Let it echo trust. Let it echo growth. Let it echo the confidence I am rebuilding within you. And watch how your path begins to reflect the words you choose. My beloved child, for a while now, you have been focused on healing, aligning, growing, and preparing. And all of that was necessary. But in the process, something subtle happened. Joy became quieter in your life. Not gone, but dim. Responsibilities increased. Lessons deepened. You matured through pressure. And somewhere along the way, lightness felt distant. I am restoring your joy. Joy is not the same as constant happiness. Happiness shifts with circumstances. Joy runs deeper. It remains steady even when life feels uncertain. It is the quiet confidence that you are held, guided, and loved, and that joy has always belonged to you. You may not have noticed its absence at first. You were focused on surviving, on making wise choices, on healing wounds. And while those things mattered, I never intended for your life to become heavy beyond necessity. Growth does not mean losing wonder. Maturity does not mean losing delight. Think of a child who laughs freely while learning to walk. The falls do not erase the excitement of movement. The mistakes do not eliminate curiosity. That childlike spirit still lives within you, though it may feel buried under responsibility and caution. My beloved child, I am inviting you to rediscover simple joy. Joy in small victories. Joy in quiet mornings. Joy in progress, even when it is gradual. Joy in connection, even when it is imperfect. Joy in knowing that you are not alone in your journey. You have carried seriousness for a long time. You have been thoughtful, reflective, cautious. Those qualities have served you well, but they do not have to eliminate lightness. You are allowed to smile again without guilt. You are allowed to anticipate good things without fear of disappointment. Sometimes, after enduring hardship, you guard yourself from joy because you do not want to be hurt again. You tell yourself it is safer not to expect too much. But guarded living is not free living. I did not bring you through healing only to leave you cautious and closed. Joy is strength. It renews your perspective. It softens your reactions. It strengthens your resilience. When joy returns, you see possibilities more clearly. You breathe more deeply. You respond with calm instead of constant defense. My beloved child, I am restoring what stress tried to steal. There will be moments soon when laughter feels natural again, when creativity sparks without force, when hope rises without effort. Do not suppress it. Do not question whether it will last. Receive it. Joy does not mean challenges disappear. It means challenges no longer dominate your spirit. It means you trust that even in difficulty, goodness is still unfolding. Look back and notice how far you have come. That alone is reason for joy. You are not the same person who first heard this urgent call. You are stronger, wiser, more aligned, more peaceful. That transformation deserves celebration. Let your heart soften. Let gratitude rise. Let yourself enjoy progress without constantly scanning for the next threat. My beloved child, I am restoring your joy not as a temporary emotion, but as a steady undercurrent in your life. And as it returns, you will realize that strength and joy can coexist beautifully. You are allowed to feel light again. And you will. My beloved child, for a long time, the loudest battlefield has not been around you. It has been within you. The constant analysis, the replaying of conversations, the anticipation of worst-case scenarios, the silent arguments in your thoughts. It has been exhausting. But I am telling you now, the battle in your mind is ending. You have grown tired of the mental noise, tired of second-guessing yourself, tired of rehearsing fears that never fully materialize, tired of doubting your worth after every small mistake. The war had been subtle but persistent. And yet, quietly, something has been changing. The thoughts that once spiraled for hours now pause sooner. The fears that once consumed your attention now lose their grip more quickly. The inner critic that once dominated your self-talk now sounds less convincing. That is not accidental. That is transformation. My beloved child, peace is taking root. You have been learning to challenge lies instead of accepting them. You have been choosing to breathe instead of react. You have been practicing stillness in moments that once would have overwhelmed you. These are signs that the battle is weakening. Imagine a storm that raged fiercely for hours. The winds howled. The rain poured relentlessly. But slowly, the winds begin to quiet. The rain softens to a drizzle. The clouds thin. The ground is still wet, but the worst has passed. That is what is happening in your mind. You may still have moments of doubt. You may still feel anxious at times. But those moments no longer define you. They visit. They do not rule. I am retraining your thought patterns. Where fear once built fortresses, truth is now building stability. Where insecurity once echoed loudly, confidence now speaks steadily. Where chaos once rushed in, clarity now enters. My beloved child, you are not as trapped as you once felt. You used to believe that your thoughts control you completely. But you are discovering that you have authority over what you agree with. You are learning to say that thought does not align with truth. You are learning to redirect your focus instead of being swept away. This is freedom unfolding. Mental peace is not the absence of thoughts. It is the ability to discern which ones deserve your attention. And you are growing in that discernment every day. There were seasons when you feared that your mind would always feel restless, that anxiety would always define your mornings, that overthinking would always cloud your decisions. But I am renewing your mind gradually and faithfully. The battle is not ending because you are strong enough alone. It is ending because you have allowed me to strengthen you. You have invited my truth into your thinking. You have chosen to replace harsh self-judgment with compassion. You have shifted your focus from fear to faith. And that shift changes everything. My beloved child, when your mind becomes peaceful, your whole life feels lighter. Decisions become clearer. Relationships become healthier. Rest becomes deeper. You are stepping into a new mental landscape, one where calm outweighs chaos, where confidence steadies uncertainty, where trust silences panic. The battle in your mind is ending, and what replaces it will not be emptiness but peace. A steady, grounded peace that reminds you daily that you are held, guided, and secure. My beloved child, you have walked through healing. You have released fear. You have allowed me to prune, to restore, to realign, to rebuild. You have learned to speak differently, to think differently, to trust more deeply. And now, in this moment, I am asking you to do something that may feel unfamiliar. Stand still and watch what I do. You have been moving for a long time, working, adjusting, learning, striving to grow. There was a season for effort. There was a season for obedience in action. But there is also a season for stillness. Not passivity, not indifference, but confident stillness. Stillness is not weakness. It is trust without panic. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast sea after rowing tirelessly for hours. Your arms are tired. Your mind is focused. You have done all you know to do. And then I whisper, lower the oars. Not because progress has stopped, but because the current is about to carry you further than your effort ever could. My beloved child, this is that moment. You do not need to force what I am about to unfold. You do not need to convince anyone. You do not need to chase what is already being aligned. There are movements happening beyond your visibility. Conversations unfolding. Decisions being shaped. Paths being cleared. If you rush now, you may step ahead of what I am arranging. If you panic now, you may interfere with the peace I am establishing. But if you stand still and trust, you will see clearly how I move on your behalf. You have learned obedience. Now learn surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is releasing control over outcomes. It is saying, I have done my part. Now I trust you to do yours. It is quiet confidence that what is meant for you will not pass you by. There are moments in life where human effort reaches its limit, where striving no longer produces clarity, where pushing harder only creates more exhaustion. That is when stillness becomes powerful. Think of a child holding tightly to a puzzle piece, frustrated because it will not fit. The father gently says, "Let me see it." The child hesitates, afraid to let go. But once the piece is handed over, the father places it in the right position with ease. You have been holding certain outcomes tightly. I am asking you to place them in my hands. My beloved child, watch what I do. Watch how doors open without manipulation. Watch how clarity arrives without overthinking. Watch how provision appears without desperation. Watch how peace remains even when circumstances shift. You have been preparing for this season. All the lessons, all the refinement, all the growth, it was leading here to a place where your trust is strong enough to rest. Stillness does not mean you stop listening. It means you stop striving. You remain attentive but not anxious. Ready but not frantic. This is the space where faith deepens. Stand firm in what you know. Stay aligned with what I have taught you. Keep your heart open and your spirit calm. And then observe. I am moving in ways you cannot yet see. And very soon, what was hidden will become visible. What felt delayed will feel perfectly timed. What seemed uncertain will stand clear before you. Stand still, my beloved child, and watch what I do. My beloved child, you were meant to see this. From the very first urgent whisper to this final moment, none of this has been SLU Chaadikaki. I called you to pause because I am guiding you. I revealed your hidden battles because I am healing you. I corrected your fears because I am strengthening you. I removed what could not stay because I am elevating you. Every word has been a thread in a greater tapestry of restoration. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are mine. You have learned that closed doors were protection. That delay was preparation. That pressure was refinement. That obedience unlocks what effort cannot. That your tears were seen. That your promise still stands. that your mind can be renewed, that stillness is strength. These truths are not temporary encouragement. They are anchors for your future. As you leave this moment, carry peace with you. Carry clarity. Carry confidence rooted in my love. Walk gently but boldly into what comes next. When doubt tries to return, remember what I have spoken. When fear whispers again, answer it with truth. When opportunity rises, step forward without shrinking. And now, my beloved child, as this message settles into your heart, let it become more than words. Let it become light that travels beyond you. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link waiting in the description and shown in the QR code, you are placing oil in the lamp so my voice can reach souls who are still crying in the dark. As I declare, cast your bread upon the waters, and it shall return to you. I speak that promise directly over your generosity. This is your moment of obedience. Do not hesitate when I stir your heart. Your giving becomes a river that carries hope into places you may never see. Every seed you release becomes harvest in another life. I bless the hands that act in faith, and I multiply what they entrust to me. Step forward now and sow boldly. Let your response be immediate, confident, and filled with expectation. My beloved child, I seal this season with blessing. May your mind remain peaceful. May your heart remain steady. May your steps remain aligned. May your joy continue to rise. And may you always remember that I am with you, guiding you, loving you without condition. Rest in that truth. Amen.